Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about constraints. Okay, constraints actually, if I can define it, is the very base of creating responsive elements, components. More than that, auto layout in the later stage. I will have a different tutorial about auto layout. I will not mix them together because I think it's going to be a bit too much. But an auto layout tutorial will follow this one. So, constraints. What is constraints? Let's start and understand what exactly are we talking about. Constraints, yes, it's that thing here that not everyone likes to actually deal with, but it's very important, as I said, for creating responsive elements or actually deciding how elements behave when we resize a frame. Do they stay the same size? Do they stay near the top, left, right? They are attached to the bottom. They stretch, they scale, they stay in the center, and so on and so on. Okay, so let's see exactly how all this is happening on the screen. So see, when I just throwed an element into this frame and I clicked on it, see these blue dotted lines, okay, now on the top and to the left, okay, because this is the default constraints that is given to an element which is thrown into a frame, usually, okay, and you can see it also here, left and top. You can see it also here, top and left. What does it mean? It means actually, you know what? If I want to visualize it in a very kind of like, I think, cool and understandable way, I can do like a chain. Yeah, but it's gonna really kind of like help to visualize what the hell is going on there. Yeah, so I guess if I will do something like that, and you know what, just bear with me for a sec, it's gonna be a bit more understandable when I will do it. Yes, 1 second, just bear with me for another sec, and I will make it quite clear. Okay, good. And then I will do something like no, that, and whoa, we have a chain. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think that this is enough. We'll delete the last one. We will frame it. Yes, Houston, we have a chain. Very good. And now, I want to do it, sorry, with the scale tool. Okay, yeah, let's do something like that. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, we got that part. Great. So we have, let's just call it a chain, that I know that this is a chain. This is our chain. Okay, great. So, whoopa. Now listen up. So this is not working with the scale tool. I'm gonna make it a bit. I'm fighting with that chain. 1 sec. Yeah, I know what I have to do, and it's just, yeah, like that. No. And I will clip content, and then we have something like that. Oh, that's good. This is exactly what I wanted to do, and we have it like that. Okay, good. So you see now, actually, 1 sec, not 1 sec, and you see I'm dealing with that, with these chains. It's pretty difficult, but why is it like that? Yeah, okay, good. So anyway, yeah, still not. I don't know what's going on with this. Okay, so basically this is, no, I wanted to show that because that's kind of like visualizing it in a very good way. This is actually what is happening here. Okay, this, so that means that if I will make my frame wider or shorter, okay, you see that nothing happens with this element. Why? Because it is chained to the top and to the left. Okay. Now, if I will move this chain to here, okay, I can even flip it if I want to be precise. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about this chain. You're noticing that, right? Anyway, not that. Oh, okay, that chain is outside. That's why I had difficult time, kind of like playing with it. Okay, anyway, so now if I want to chain this element to the right side, okay, so I will chain even the chain, right? And this also goes to the right. Okay, so now, by the way, look that you see I chained this element to the right side. So now when I will resize the frame, see, now it is chained to the right side, so it's going with the right side. Now, if I want to make this chain go with him, I will also have to chain it to the right side, you see, like that. And then they all go together, okay? Because this is another element on my screen, beside of being a chain. It's another element on my screen. Okay, so now what happens if I want to, let me just put it there and let me just flip it. Now what happens if I want to chain this element to the left and to the right. Okay, I want it to stretch, actually grow with the frame that I am resizing, its width actually. So with this element clicked, selected, okay, I'm choosing here left and right. So look what happens now. Don't mind about this chain right now. Look at that. Oh no, sorry. Left and right, and this one I'm gonna do to the left, this one is gonna be to the right, and look at that, you see, now it is growing with the resizing of the frame. Okay, if I want this element to stay in the center, I need to give it not right and not left, I have to give it center. Okay, if I chain the chain to the center, look what happens now. You see, it goes and stays in the center of the frame. Okay, if I would give this element center, it will stay in the center, regardless to the chains that will try to chain him, but with no success, I promise you. Anyway, it will stay in the center. You see, now it's not stretching, it stays in the center. Okay, now another thing that we have, sorry, of course, that as I said, it doesn't matter that I'm showing it on a mobile screen, it can be desktop, tablet, any screen that you design, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's put the chains aside for a sec. They did a good job of showing us. By the way, let's say that here I have a, not this, I don't need. Okay, let's say that I have a button. Okay, let's give it some kind of height like this. Okay, now I have a button, and I want this button actually to stay chained to the bottom when I am changing the height of this frame. Okay, so how do I do it? As we saw before, the same thing. I'm gonna give it here instead of top, I will give it bottom. Okay, and now see this button which is going with my frame. Pretty cool. Okay, and that, now I'm giving this button actually text. Let's go give it some text, be very creative. That was super creative, and I will go with something like this. Okay, good. And I am making this, let's make it a group. Yeah, you know what, let's try it with a group. Okay, so this group actually, the group, it tells me that it has mixed, because yeah, this one is chained to the left and I will give it a center, and this one is center. Okay, so it had mixed definitions actually on these elements. And you know what, on this one I will give it a left and right. So now when I will grow my frame, you see the text stays in the center and the button grows with the frame. Pretty cool. Okay, that's nice. Good. Um, Now scaling. Let's see what's up with the scaling. I didn't show it yet. So let's say that we have a frame. Let's give it a round number. Give it now 400. Just to have a round number to be easy to calculate. Okay. And this one will have, let's give it a 200 of width and place it, align it to the center of the frame. It doesn't really matter. Just more comfortable to the eye. Let's put it like that. So let's say that I want to reduce the size of my, the width, sorry, of my frame in 20%. That means that instead of 400, it will be 320. Now I have this element, okay, which is kind of a square in the width of 200 less 20%, it needs to be 160. Okay, so now it's defined to the center. Let's give it a scale behavior. Okay, and let me give my frame 320. Okay, as we said, I'm reducing 20%. Okay, now this needs to be 160. Okay, good. You see, we have a width of 160. That means, as I said, that the element which is defined scale in scale, okay, it can be to the horizontal and vertical, okay, it scales with the frame. So that means that if I will kind of freely scale my frame, you see, sorry, I need to give it also a scale here. So when I am scaling my frame, you will see that it scales with the frame. Don't mind the button, which is looking pretty weird on the screen. Never mind. But you see, look at this element. It scales freely with our frame. Okay, that's good. If that's what we want, then this is excellent. By the way, the text of the button, let's see how it's defined. Okay, you see the text is chained. I'm going back to this word, which is pretty good. It does a good job. Is chained to the top. What does it mean? It means that it will always keep the same distance from the top of the frame. Okay? Even if it's close to the bottom of the frame, it's still chained to the top, meaning that this distance between here and to the text, this distance will remain always. Okay, that means when it's constrained to the top. So you see, when I'm resizing my frame, it stays actually here. Okay, it doesn't go with all the other elements. And of course, if I will change it to bottom, then now he will go with the frame. Okay, so that is basically all the constraints thing. And let's do something a bit more visual on the screen and we'll understand it even more. Okay, let me actually do these out, and let's give it a, and yeah, let's give it a mobile screen size, which is good, 375 by 812. Let's give it a kind of a orange background, which is good. Okay, it's good for me. I don't know what about you guys, but it's good for me. That's okay. And let me take a frame here, and I will give this frame a fill. Yeah, white fill is good, I think. Um, oh, this one. And let me actually take, it doesn't need to be an image, actually, it doesn't really matter. Let's say that we have an image here, okay? Okay. We have an image. You know what? Let me take an image. Oh, okay, okay. And Houston, we have an image. Great. Okay, let's give it okay a bit of a round corner here to give it kind of like a nice look, which is very nice. And you see, I'm backing myself on the shoulder, which is good. And here, let's say that we have, yeah, let's make it like, I don't know, some kind of a post, or it doesn't really matter. Let's say that we have an avatar of a user. We have a name. Let's give it a name, make it a bit smaller. I'm just throwing elements to our frame. It doesn't really matter. And let's say that we have a three dots menu here. Yeah, do something like that. And marvelous. Okay, I'll make it a group. That's okay. Let's call it a three dots menu. This is our text. That's our image. And we are good to go. I guess something like that. Yeah, the avatar can be a bit smaller. Yeah, I guess it's okay. Okay, we're fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna mess around too much with that. We're not gonna waste too much time with this. Okay, now this one can go here, and we have an image to go here. And let's say that here we have three icons. I'm just gonna do circs. It doesn't really matter right now. Okay, it's just, let's call it an icon holder. Okay, I mean, think that you have your favorites icon, share icon, and I don't know, another icon. Okay, something like that. And we have, let's say, image title or name. Doesn't matter. Let's call it an image title. It's a title is usually on the top, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have this, and I will make my frame. Let's see what happens with all the rest of the elements. Yeah, they're okay. So we have this frame, okay, that actually holds our image. We have all the elements that were created here. Great. Now let's start and make it responsive. Okay, so we can do these icons, we can make them a group. Okay, it can be a group, it can be a frame, it can be a component, it can be anything that groups actually a few elements. Okay, a group, frame, component, they are all grouping elements together. So that's one. And let's, I mean, this we can group them, yes or no, we can. Okay, let's make a group and call it avatar plus name. And this one we said icons. Good. I like to name, or it's usually very good to name all the layers in names that you are not going to kind of like lose it when you work with it later. Okay, so now let's create, let's take it and let's say that we want to move this element to a tablet view. So let's see the constraints. Here it's on top and to the left, which is great. Here on top to the right is not good for us. We're gonna do it, sorry, to the left was not good for us. We're gonna do it to the right. So you see it's on top and to the right, which is good. Now this one, we're gonna give scale and scale because I want the image to scale, okay, with the resizing of the frame, scale left to right and top to bottom. Okay, soon we're gonna see how it behaves. Let's see, this one is chained. I'm going back to this word. It's a good word actually. Is chained to the top. We want it chained to the bottom. Okay, bottom and left, which is good. Let's see, this one default, as I said, is top and left. We want it on bottom and right. Okay, so now our element should be quite responsive. Now, when we're actually, of course, when we're taking elements from mobile to tablet, we also sometimes, beside creating a responsive element, okay, which is all that, by the way, can be a component which behaves completely responsive, and then you can, just change the content inside this component. I mean, change the image, change the avatar, the name, and then you can reuse it again and again. But of course, that sometimes when we move things to tablet things, I mean elements, let's say components that we created or any group of elements that we created to reuse it, then sometimes we're going to have to change the size of the elements as well, because when we're moving things to the tablet, so maybe we have to make the icons bigger, make the text bigger, and so on. I'm not going to get into it right now. Let's just see how this element responses actually to the change of size. Let's take a tablet, kind of like a preset one. Yeah, let's take this one. That's okay. Okay, so we have a tablet. Okay, and let's give it a same background, the same background. Okay, now I'm copying this element. Yeah, sorry, I was interrupted. So I am copying this element and putting it now in the tablet. Not that. Okay, that wasn't the meaning. And yeah, now we're talking. Okay, now look when I'm changing the size of this one. Okay, you see how it behaves? So, okay, but something is not exactly right here. Yeah, I see, because this one is in the, let's see, it's defined. Scale is good. No, I don't need scale. Okay, that was my mistake. So not scaling. I will give it, of course. Now I see my mistake. But you see what happened here? Okay, one second. Let me show it again. Okay, so when I did scale, actually, it also moves inside the frame, meaning that it scales and centers while it's scaling. That's not what we want. That was my mistake by defining it. And that's okay, because we do mistakes and correct them. So now I'm going to give it a left and right and top and bottom. Okay, and now let's see it again. Okay, now it's going to behave perfect, because now it's not going to move, but it's just going to scale top and bottom and right and left. So now it behaves exactly as we want. Okay, pretty cool. So we created uh, a responsive element. Okay, and look how beautiful it behaves. And as I said, of course, sometimes we're going to have to change again the we're going to have to change the size of the icons and the text and such, but in general it behaves perfectly responsive. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I hope it wasn't too long and it was understandable. So as I said, the next tutorial I'm going to do is about auto layout, so you better check it out when it comes out. It's not out yet, but it will be soon. Thanks a lot. Hope it helped whoever needed it, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.